My name is George Lucier, and I'm chair of the Chatham County Board of Commissioners. Chatham County is located in central North Carolina. In fact, in Chatham County, the geographical center of the state is located about 10 miles south of here. So we are in fact the geographical center of North Carolina. We're a fast-growing county. In fact, one of the 7th or 8th fastest in the state. Historically, we've been primarily a rural agricultural county that had not grown very quickly. And over the last 25 years, our population has doubled. The number of houses that have been approved and not yet built indicate that our population will grow at least 50% in the next 10 years. Chatham County is very rich in natural resources. We have Jordan Lake, which lies almost entirely within the boundaries of Chatham County, and it has 120 miles of shoreline. We have 3 main rivers that run through here. We have the Haw River, the Deep River, the Rocky River. And because we're such a large county with not so many people here right now, we have an opportunity to protect our natural resources in a way that some other counties nearby that have experienced this type of growth before us have not had a chance to deal with. So we've learned from some of the mistakes of other government agencies here, other local government agencies, and are trying to put in place ordinances, regulations that both allow growth to occur, but at the same time ensure that that growth does not damage our precious natural resources. Our subdivision regulations were really far out of date, and we saw this as we were reviewing applications that came into us. We needed to really upgrade them into the 21st century. And what we did was streamline them to some extent. So most of the work that went into the application is done up front. We now require environmental assessments to be done, especially for the larger developments. And in this way, the environmental assessment can help guide the site plan. Previously, those were done later on when it was really too late to change it. So now they can help guide the site plan. We have added conservation subdivisions in which we give the applicant a density bonus if they in fact will preserve and conserve large areas of open space and land that should be protected. So we both tried to streamline the application process, bring in input from local citizens early in the process, require the environmental assessments early in the process, and in this way we think we'll go a long way in terms of having developments that are consistent with our environmental goals. The zoning ordinance is important as well, because much of Chatham County actually remains unzoned. And we've done a few things there. We did zone our major corridors. 7 or 8 years ago, there were no 4-lane highways in Chatham County. Now we have 70 miles of 4-lane highways. And you can imagine what risk you're at if you have 4-lane highways in a rapidly growing area that are unzoned. So we have zoned those areas. We've added opportunities in for commercial development in certain areas. And we've provided a menu of different types of development that can occur, going from the smaller neighborhood commercial centers up to the larger regional ones. So whatever is most appropriate for that area, we'll have a process to go through to make sure that, again, it's consistent with the goals that we've established for managed growth. We've amended our soil erosion and sedimentation control ordinance to really emphasize the fact that much of the problems that we've encountered with erosion is just because of practices that were not best management practices that weren't followed. This includes clearing a lot of land at the same time and save the opportunity for greater erosion. It includes site stabilization on a timely basis. And when you clear land, you just don't leave it torn up for a long period of time, you stabilize it. And it includes a lot of other elements that really far exceed state standards. And we think this is going to go a long way towards protecting Jordan Lake. Because we've seen in the past when, we've seen aerial photographs during periods of heavy rain around major construction sites, you can just see the sediment plume moving into Jordan Lake. And in the long run, that's bad for everyone. We didn't have a stormwater ordinance prior to December 2nd of 2008. That's when we adopted the stormwater ordinance. And this is reflects the fact that you can have the best design for a stormwater device, but if you don't construct it properly, if you don't monitor it properly, if you don't maintain it, there's a good likelihood that stormwater structure will fail. And the result, again, will be sedimentation and other nutrients moving into our waterways. So the major elements of this ordinance require proper design, proper construction, proper monitoring, and proper maintenance of those structures. We had a land use plan in place that actually was adopted in around 2000. And it is a very good vision for land use planning in Chatham County. Nevertheless, because of the amendments and the changes that we've made to our ordinances, we're going to have to go back and revisit the land use plan and update it to make sure that it's consistent with the ordinances and regulations that we now have in place. There have been many actually criticisms that we've received about, well, if you put all these regulations in place that you're going to damage economic development. We think the opposite is true. I think you only have to look at the emphasis now on energy conservation, green building practices, and people recognizing that this is going to be an essential component of economic development, not only in Chatham County, but in the United States as a whole. That green building practices are to become a centerpiece of the new economy. You know, we think that environmental protections, energy conservation go hand in hand with economic development. And I think the future will show that statement to be true.